So I pre-wrote the question, so this one should be a pretty short video. Okay. A nurse is preparing to administer acetaminophen 10 milligram per kilogram PO to a preschool child for a fever. The child weighs 22 pounds. Available is acetaminophen liquid, 160 milligrams per 5 ml. How many mLs should the nurse administer? Round to the nearest tenth. Okay. So remember I said those two questions, two very important questions that you want to be sure to ask yourself when you are posed with any dosage calculation questions. What is it asking me? Do I have to convert? Okay, so I already underlined the things about what the question is asking you and all of the pertinent information that you need to pull out. The question is asking me, how many mLs do I need to administer as the nurse? Okay, and I pulled out and underlined 10 milligrams per kilogram because that's what the doctor desires for the patient to have. Okay, I also underlined the patient's weight. They weighed 22 pounds. Okay, that is important for this question since the order that the doctor gave me considers the weight. Okay, available and on hand, I have a liquid medication that is 160 milligrams per 5 mLs. All right, now I know that these slashes can be intimidating. Okay, these forward slashes, slash. All right, but don't. Let me explain to you what that means. Okay, for this one, 10 milligrams per kilogram. That means every kilogram that that patient weighs, they can have 10 milligrams. That's what the doctor is saying. Okay, now this, when you see this, okay, this slash on a medication bottle, that means in this medication bottle or this vial, this liquid medication, for every 5 mLs, there is 160 milligrams of medication in that 5 mLs. Every 5 mLs in that bottle, okay? So if I draw 5 mLs out, withdraw 5 mLs out, that's gonna be 160 milligrams in that 5 mL, okay? That's what those slashes mean, per or every, okay? So my next question that I need to ask myself, do I need to convert? Okay, so I have milligram, I have a 5 mLs, but that's my quantity. And then I have a kilogram and a pounds. Okay, I have two different conversions there. So the answer is yes. For this question, I do need to convert. And I know for 1 kilogram, it is 2.2 pounds. Okay, remember I said put that to memory, all right? Your most important, okay, that is one of your most important conversions that you need to remember, okay? My formula that I'm going to be using is my desired over half times my quantity, okay? And so since I need to convert, that is the first thing that I'm going to do, all right? And I will say, give you another tip, is to be careful with the rounding. It does say round to the nearest tenth, but you're not rounding anything until you get your final answer, okay? I know you see decimal points and all of that, or when you're converting a lot of the times using kilograms, you may get a decimal point. Don't round it, okay? If you round it prematurely, your answer will be wrong, okay? So for this, to round, I line it up, okay? If you line it up this way, you will get it right every single time. This is also another way for you to check your work and check your answers, all right? You line it up, the lineup method, okay? If you are like me, that cannot remember, do I move the decimal place the right or the left? Or do I divide, do I multiply? If you can't remember any of that, then do it this way. Okay, now if you have a good memory, okay, unlike myself, if you have a good memory and you're able to remember, oh yeah, let me just move the decimal place, or let me divide, let me multiply, then do you, boo, okay? But if you can't, all right, utilize this. Or even if you can, use this to check your work to make sure you converted properly, all right? So I know 22 pounds, okay, is what they gave me, and I'm trying to figure out how many kilograms that is. I don't know, so I'm gonna use X. 22 pounds equals X amount of kilograms. X, because I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Then I'm gonna put the conversion right underneath it. I know that 22 pounds is 1 kilogram, okay? You have to line it up and mesh the correct amount of, the correct unit of measure. So pounds, kilogram, okay? So what you're trying to figure out on top and your conversion on the bottom. 22 pounds equals X amount of kilograms. 22 pounds equals 1 kilogram. Then you're gonna just cross multiply, okay? X times 22 x times 2.2 pounds, okay, is 2.2x. 22 times 1 is 22. So 22 equals 2.2x, okay? You're going to divide that to solve for x, and my x is going to equal 10 kilograms, okay? So 22 pounds is 10 kilograms, okay? And what you see here, 22 pounds is 10 kilograms. Okay, now this said, we're not done yet, okay? We just converted, we did the conversion. So now, since this is my formula, I need to figure out what I'm plugging into that formula, okay? I still need to figure out my desired, okay? I just figured out how many kilograms is 22 pounds. That's it. Okay, but I'm not done. I need to know what is going in this desired portion in my formula. Okay, I can't just put this. That's not gonna work. Okay, so since I know that 22 pounds is 10 kilograms, okay, and the doctor ordered 10 milligram per every kilogram, I'm going to multiply that. Okay, so I'm going to multiply 10 milligrams times the 10 kilograms, and I'm going to get 100 milligrams there. Okay, so now this is my desired. Okay, that's my desired dose. That is what the doctor desires the patient to have. Okay, so I'm going to plug that at the top in my D over H times Q. Plug that at the top. It gave me what I have on hand here, 160 milligrams at the bottom, times my quantity here, 5 mLs. You plug that into your calculator, you should get 3.125. Now, this is 1/10, hundredths, thousandths, okay? It's asking me to round to the nearest tenth, all right? So I know ones place, tenths place. So I'm supposed to only have these two numbers here. This is what I need. I need these two numbers here. So, but I need to get rid of this. In order to get rid of this for rounding purposes, I need to look at this number next to it. If it is greater than 5 or 5 or greater, we're going to round up. Okay, we're going to round this next number up. If it is less than 5, okay, if it is less than 5, then we're just going to drop all of those numbers and leave it. Okay, that is your rounding. So since 2 is less than 5, I'm just going to drop all of this. Okay, and you're going to get 3.1 mLs. Okay, easy peasy, right? That's easy. You got this. That's it.